गुड मॉर्निंग डियर ऑल। आज एक डाउट जो लेबर चैप्टर का इलस्ट्रेशन 13 के बारे में बात करेंगे। सो न्यूमेरिकल ऑफ लेबर वी विल बी सॉल्विंग। सो you are asked to calculate earnings. First point is you are asked to calculate earnings of worker A and B for a month. तो ये वर्कर्स हैं ए एंड बी, इनकी अर्निंग्स कैलकुलेट करनी है। सेकंड थिंग विच इज़ आस्क्ड इज एलोकेशन of these earnings. So these earnings have to be allocated to the jobs X, Y and Z. The data which is given to us is that this person A and B, these workers, ये जो workers हैं दो, इनकी बेसिक वेज हमें दे दी है, दैट इज़ इट इज़ ₹100 और इसकी भी ₹100 है। एंड देन दिस डियरनेस अलाउंस इट इज़ गिवन 50%। तो बेटा 50% किसका होगा? इफ़ इट इज़ रिटन 50%, तो 50% ऑफ 100 इज़ 50%, 50 रुपीज़ सॉरी। एंड बी के लिए द थिंग इज़ गिवन 55%। सो ए के लिए 50% है और बी के लिए 55% है दिया हुआ। तो 55% means 55% of 100 is 55. So we calculate the basic wage and the DA. And then we are given with the Provident Fund. The Provident Fund information is given to us, and that is again on basic wages. And the percentage which is given for A is 8% and for B is also 8%. So when I calculate this percentage for A, so A 100, I have to calculate 8%. So 8% of 100 rupees 8, and for over here also rupees 8. So I can take it as employer contribution. Employer's contribution to the provident fund, because it is written in the question that employer contribution to the insurance and to the provident fund is at equal rate with the employees contribution. So employee is also contributing the same and employer is also contributing the same. और if you can find out what I am doing is the कल जो वीडियो ट्यूटोरियल शेयर किया था, तो I am calculating the labor cost. आई एम डूइंग द कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ द लेबर कॉस्ट। तो ये लेबर कॉस्ट की कंप्यूटेशन हो रही है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेबर कंप्यूटेशन for labor cost, if you remember, let me show you what we had done was basic is to be added, DA to be added, other allowances, bonus is to be added, employer contribution to provident fund, insurance fund is to be added, and then amenities and all provided are to be added. This will give us the labor cost. But when we calculate the earnings part, then in earnings part these things are not going to be taken. Instead deductions are to be done for the employee's contribution to provident fund and insurance fund, and any installment fee or loan installment is paid by the employee, so that is also deducted out of salary, so that will be deducted, and the net amount is the amount of earning. So now over here the wages, I come back to the point again. So the question says that insurance fund, about the insurance fund percentage for, again it is given on basic wages only. For A is 2% and for B is also 2%. So 2% on basic wages 100, again it gives 2 and 2. So we have this, and then the word overtime is given to us. Overtime is 10 hours for A. A has done 10 hours overtime and B has done no overtime, and then B rather has an idle time of 16. So now I will try to find out, first of all, the labor cost part is over. The first thing is, let us calculate the labor cost. So it is 150 and then this is 160. Over here you can see the total 150 plus 8 plus 2, so it is 160. And on the other hand side, we have for B, we can calculate. It is 100 and then 10 and then 55. Then we have over here 165. So dear girls, here we have calculated labor cost. That is, what is the cost of this labor to the organization? This we have done. Now, but this thing is not asked. We are asked, we have to calculate the earnings. So I have to go to the next part. I have shown you this way because if the question asks about the labor cost also, then you should be knowing. And one thing is yet left. That is over here, I have to add the overtime wages also. One thing is left, sorry. Overtime wages also, then it will give the exact labor cost because A is doing the labor cost. So overtime hours for A are shown that they are 10 hours. तो 10 घंटे का ओवरटाइम की है. पहले तो हम देखें क्वेश्चन राइट्स कि नॉर्मल वर्किंग आवर्स are 200 hours and overtime is paid at double rate. So double rate, which rate? It is written double the normal wage plus DA. So it is double this rate. Or who has done overtime? Who did overtime? Worker A. How many hours? He did for 10 hours. So it means 10 hours को multiply करेंगे एक rate से which has to be double. The double means twice. Twice this normal rate I will be calculating and I will be multiplying it by 2 so that the double rate is calculated. So now how to calculate this rate? First of all, I have to tell you this, but before that we pursue further, please have a look at again. Normal working hours 200 were there and this A is doing overtime of 10 hours. Now when I say what was the basic wage, because it is written he is going to be given the overtime rate, this rate is going to include the basic wage and DA part also. It's written in the question. So basic wage of A was 100 and DA was 50. So total comes out to be 150. And 150, if I want to find out this normal rate per hour which this person is supposed to get, so 150 divided by the 200 hours. So the 200 hours are written over here, normal working hours. So 150, that is basic plus DA 150. So 150 divided by 200. That comes out to be 0.75 per hour. But overtime rate is what? Twice. So it is 2 into 0.75. So overtime rate per hour is twice. So 0.75 into 2 and it comes out to be rupee 50 paisa. And now what are the overtime wages for A? For worker A, they are 10 hours into 1.5. So it comes out to be rupees 15. And if we are asked to find out the labor cost, then I have to add in this 160 the overtime wages also, which I forgot to do earlier, but now I'm telling you. So this is 15 rupees more, so it is 175 labor cost for A worker, and I can write labor cost over here, and 165 for B. B has not done any overtime, so no overtime wages for this. So I'm adding the overtime wages for A, but nothing has been done for B. But question is not asking us labor cost. The question is asking me that we have to calculate the earnings of the worker. So how to calculate the earnings? the net wages payable. So what is the formula of net wages payable? I told you, again I will be showing you that we add basic, we add DA, we add other allowances, we add bonus, but we don't take the employer's contribution. Instead, we deduct the employee's part. So the same formula now I am going to use it over here. So we take the basic. Again, I have to calculate for A and B worker. So the basic wage we calculated. I can show it. We had this 100 for both the workers. So the basic wage is 100 for A and B. So over here also I'll be writing A and B 100. This is the basic wage. And now the DA part. DA we had calculated 50 and 55. So 50 and 55. Now employer contribution नहीं लेना, insurance fund नहीं लेना. So what we have to take? We have to do the deductions. But before that, remember that overtime was also done. So who did overtime? A did overtime. ये भी तो पेमेंट करनी है ना कैश में. तो आई एम कैलकुलेटिंग अर्निंग्स नेट वेजेस पेबल. तो ओवर टाइम वाला पैसा भी बीच में ऐड करना है. हमने अभी कैलकुलेट किया था 15, तो दैट वी आर गोइंग टू राइट ओवर हियर. नो ओवर टाइम ही हैज डन. तो व्हाट आर द ग्रॉस वेजेस पेबल? ग्रॉस वेजेस पेबल, तो इट इज 150 and then 15 rupees more. So it comes out to be 165 and over here 155. And now I have to do the deduction. Now which deduction? Again, see the chart, the previous day which we did. I have to do the deduction of employees' contribution to provident fund, to insurance fund and installment. So this question states the employer and employee contribution is at the same rate. So 8 and 2, 8 and 2. So similarly, I'll be doing the reduction, but I'll be writing employee contribution to, first of all, provident fund, then to insurance fund. So similarly, 8 and 2 rupees are deducted. 8 and 2 rupees are deducted. So what are the net wages payable? The net wages payable are 155 and 145. You can have a look at it. So we calculated. Now if we are asked with that what is the labor cost per hour, now in that case labor cost per hour, if the question asks, suppose if the question asks, then labor cost per hour is going to be 175 inclusive of overtime wages. The effective rate is for this is going to be 175 divided by the hours, the total hours, but their overtime is also being taken. He has done overtime, so we will be adding overtime hours also. That is 175 divided by, he worked for 210 hours because he did 10 hours overtime. Effective rate. But if we are asked about the labor cost per hour, we can divide 160 and 165 by 200 and I will be having the labor cost per hour of the organization. I repeat, अगर effective labor rate पता करना है, then this amount, that is 175 divided by 200, 165 divided by 200, यानी कि ओवर टाइम ऐड करके यहाँ ओवर टाइम के आवर्स भी ऐड होंगे. 175 डिवाइडेड बाय 210 आवर्स. बट अगर लेबर कॉस्ट पर आवर ही सिर्फ पूछा गया तो हमने इसी को लेना है, क्योंकि ओवर टाइम को हम इनकरेज नहीं करते. वी डोंट इनकरेज ओवर टाइम. तो द लेबर कॉस्ट पर आवर विल बी 160 डिवाइडेड बाय 200, 165 divided by 200 if question asks. Okay, now the question said number 1, calculate earnings, which we have done. Now it says allocate these earnings to 3 jobs, X, Y and Z. So now we are going to allocate this earnings to the to the jobs, that is X, Y and Z. So jobs I will be writing X, Y and Z. Now what I have to allocate? Number one, I have to allocate their wages, that is the cost. So I can say ordinary wages, because the other wages are going to be the uh, overtime wages. So let us see that worker A worked in these three jobs in which ratio. Suppose I am doing it for worker A first. I am calculating this allocation for allocating the earnings of worker A to the jobs X, Y and Z. So it is allocation of earnings of worker A to the jobs X, Y and Z. अब X, Y, Z में this person A has worked in which ratio? So it's written that they were working in the ratio that is 80, 60, 60. So 80, 60, 60 can be taken as 4:3:3. So in this ratio, I'll be dividing the labor cost. Now comes that labor cost part, this part which I calculated. I said question is not demanding, but indirectly it was demanding. Directly it was only demanding the earnings part, which we did it over here, the earnings part, net wages payable. But indirect way, when it says allocate, so that I have to allocate this labor cost. Now this 160 and 165, this will be divided to the these jobs in the ratio of which ratio? That is what we have calculated, 4:3:3. So what is the total wages of worker A? 160. So I'll be dividing 160 in these three, so it comes out to be 64, 48, 48. Which ratio? 4:3:3. बट ओवर टाइम जो किया था एक्स इस वर्कर ए ने, वो किस जॉब पे किया था? सिर्फ उसने किया था वाई जॉब पे, तो इस पे ही 15 रुपये लगेंगे डायरेक्ट, और किसी पे नहीं लगेंगे। तो टोटल करो ज़रा यहाँ पर, तो हमारे पास एक टोटल आ जाना है, दैट इज़ फॉर द वर्कर ए कि हमने कैसे बांटा, 64 यहाँ दे दिया हम लोगों ने, और 48 चले गया उधर जेड जॉब के ऊपर। तो 15 रुपीज़ हमने जो चार्ज किए हैं ओवरहेड के, वो किस में ओवर टाइम के चार्ज किए हैं, वी चार्ज टू आई, और यहाँ पे आ गया 48। तो 64, 43, 48 हमने एक्स वर्क ए वर्कर की तो एलोकेट कर दिए। अब हम एलोकेट करते हैं बी वर्कर की। तो एलोकेशन ऑफ अर्निंग्स ऑफ वर्कर बी, तो वर्कर बी की भी एक्स, वाई और जेड जॉब्स में एलोकेट करना है, लेकिन अब उसकी रेशो क्या है? तो क्वेश्चन ने बताया हुआ है 140, 60, तो वी कैन से 5:2:3। तो 5:2:3 की रेशो में डिवाइड करेंगे हम। अब इसकी सिर्फ ऑर्डिनरी वेजेस थी, इसने कोई ओवर टाइम वगैरह नहीं किया था, और इसकी जो ऑर्डिनरी वेजेस थी वो उसका टोटल क्या था? 165 रुपीज़। तो 165 को 5:2:3 में बांट देना हमने, तो दैट कम्स आउट टू बी 33 एंड 49.50। अब ये भी एलोकेट हो गए, लेकिन हमें तो टोटल जॉब की कॉस्ट, देखो जॉब्स की कॉस्ट निकालनी है हमें, तो जॉब्स की जो टोटल कॉस्ट है बाय एलोकेटिंग द वर्कर्स एक्स, वाई, जेड में, यानी कि वो कितनी बनी जब हमने वर्कर ए की एलोकेशन कर दी अर्निंग्स की, वर्कर बी की कर दी, तो वर्कर ए की एलोकेट कितनी की थी हमने की थी 64, 63, 48, और वर्कर बी की कितनी एलोकेट की थी 82.5 33 और 49.50, इसको कर देना है टोटल। तो हमारे पास आ जाना है यहाँ पर 146.50, then we have 96 and then we have 97.50। सो हमने दोनों काम कर लिए। हमने जो क्वेश्चन ने बोले थे, तो क्वेश्चन सेड दैट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कैलकुलेट अर्निंग्स देन द एलोकेशन ऑफ अर्निंग। तो एक चीज़ आपने देखी, अर्निंग और एलोकेशन ऑफ अर्निंग में थोड़ा डिफरेंट आ गया। अर्निंग में तो हमने वेजेस पेबल बता दिए, एलोकेशन जब हमने जॉब को कॉस्ट डालनी है तो हमने लेबर कॉस्ट ही डालनी है, दैट इज़ दिस पार्ट लेबर कॉस्ट। लेकिन जब वर्कर चाहता है तो वो तो ये देखना चाहेगा ना कि उसको कितने पैसे मिल रहे हैं, तो उसकी अर्निंग्स हमने निकाल दी। आई होप क्वेश्चन आपको क्लियर हो गया। सो थैंक यू। प्लीज़ इसको सॉल्व करें, आप अपने आप कीजिए, एंड नाउ आई होप द थिंग्स विल बी डन। थैंक यू।